The journey to Des Moines starts tonight for 1A teams around the state, and the same is true here in Central City. Tonight, Central Elkader comes to town for a rematch of a non-conference matchup from early January, this time with everything on the line. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's presentation of postseason Wildcat basketball on the Wildcat Sports YouTube page and the NFHS Network. I'm David Warrington, and it is postseason time as the district quarterfinals begin tonight around the state in Class 1A. And before we get started, I have to give a shout out to our sponsor, Heartland Bank. Heartland Bank is a proud supporter of Central City Wildcat sports. At Heartland Bank, we recognize more than ever the need to support local customers and organizations in our communities. As your community bank, we're here for you. So again, it is Central City hosting Central Elkader tonight, Class 1A District 6 quarterfinal action here in Central City. Let's go ahead and take a look at both of our teams here tonight. First, the host, Central City. They come into this game with a 13-9 record in the regular season. They went 9-5, good for third place in the Tri-Rivers West. They lost last time out on Tuesday, hosting Maquoketa Valley by a final of 66-45. Assistant coach for the Wildcats is John McGovern. Central City's head coach in his first season is Ryan Turner. During his time with the Wildcats, Coach Turner, the record of 13 wins and 9 losses. Taking a look at the players to watch for Central City, it starts with Makai Benton, the big 6'3 junior, averaging a team best 15.5 points per game. Adds a team leading 7 rebounds with 1.5 assists and half a steal. Other than Makai, certainly got to watch out for the Closeman brothers in the Central City team. First up, the sophomore point guard Matthew, averaging 15 points per game, alongside 5.5 rebounds, team leading and second in the conference, 4.5 assists, and a team best 2 steals. And Matthew's older brother Aiden, the junior shooting guard, is averaging 10.5 points per game, shooting nearly 40% from 3, nearly 90% from the free throw line, 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal for Aiden Klosterman. Now taking a look at tonight's visitors, the Central Elkader Warriors. They come into this game with a record of 7-14 on the season. They went 4-12 in Upper Iowa play. They lost their last game 6 nights ago against MFL Marmac in Elkader by a final of 75-39. Assistant coaches for the Warriors are Mike Beck and Blake Rodenberg. Central Elkader's head coach is Brady Strammer. Looking at the players to watch for Elkader, it starts with Dan McGreal, their senior, averaging a team best 16 points per game. That is third in the Upper Iowa Conference. Alongside that, he's averaging 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Other players to watch out for Elkader includes Elliot Kelly, a senior, averaging 7 points per game, a team best 6 rebounds, and a team leading 3.5 assists. And lastly is Gabe Erickson. He's a junior who's done most of his work off the bench this season, but he is in the starting lineup here tonight. 7.5 points per game for him, 4 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. Since 2006, Central City leading this series 8-1 over Central Elkader. That one loss was a buzzer beater here in Central City back in December of 2020 for a 3-point Elkader victory. And as I mentioned, they did meet up earlier this season here in Central City back on January 9th. That was a 91-48 win in favor of your Central City Wildcats. There's your look at both teams. We're just about 6.5 minutes away from meeting the starters, singing the anthem, and playing postseason basketball here in Central City. Why don't we take this opportunity to take a look at the postseason bracket the Wildcats have been assigned to. They are in Class 1A Sub-State 3. Within Sub-State 3, there are districts both 5 and 6. We are in District 6. And here is a look at both District 5 and 6. First up in District 5, they got underway this past Friday on the 10th of February. First round matchup, 9th seed West Central at the 8th seed Edgewood Colesburg. That was a 71-58 victory for Edco. So tonight in quarterfinal matchups, Edco will play at the number 1 seed North Lynn, 5 seed South Winneshiek is at 4 seed Tripola, 7 seed Clarksville at 2 seed Maquoketa Valley, and the 6 seed Turkey Valley at 3 seed East Buchanan. The semifinals are this Thursday the 16th. Barring any upsets, that would feature 4 seed Tripola at the 1 seed North Lynn and 3 seed East Buchanan at 2 seed Maquoketa Valley. District finals take place on the 21st of February. That is a Tuesday, 8 days from tonight. That site will be neutral, and that is to be determined. Now looking at District 6, this is where your Central City Wildcats are. The first round action got started on Friday there as well. 9 seed Starmont at 8 seed Key, for the right to play at the 1 seed. That game was won by Key, 65-35. So now tonight in quarterfinal matchups, Key has earned the right to play at the 1 seed Wapsie Valley. 5 seed Waterloo Christian is at the 4 seed Nashua Plainfield. 7 seed Central Elkader here in Central City to take on your 2nd seeded Wildcats. And the 6 seed Lisbon is at the 3 seed Clayton Ridge. Semifinals coming up on Thursday, barring upsets. That would see 4 seed Nashua Plainfield go to the 1 seed Wapsie Valley, and 3 seed Clayton Ridge come here to Central City. Of course, can't take anything for granted, especially in the postseason, so don't want to just assume those will be the matchups, but barring any upsets, that's what we would see. Certainly could be Clayton Ridge falling to Lisbon or Nashua Plainfield falling to Waterloo Christian, but those are the presumed matchups, barring upsets. And then the district finals, again, are on the 21st. That is the Tuesday. Neutral site is to be determined there, and the sub-state championship for the right to go to Des Moines and play in the state tournament will be February 25th. That is a Saturday, and again, that site is also to be determined. It will be a neutral site, I would assume. It will be a bigger 2A or 3A school type gym for that game to be played in. So the postseason starting tonight for almost everybody in Class 1A. A handful of teams playing in the 9 versus 8 seed matchups. Got started on Friday, but everybody else is getting started here tonight. Wildcats were given a very good bracket, if I do say so myself. They only have to win a couple of home games in order to get to the district championship game. Certainly can't take anything for granted, and certainly have to play well also, but they did not get a bad draw, I'll say that. As the 2 seed, getting to play 2 home games in the comfort of your own gym. Don't have to get on the bus all day and drive around the state. You can stay home and get the win in front of your home fans. That's what they will be trying to do here tonight. A rematch with Central Elkader, a game that Central City won going away 91-48 back in January. To start that game, Makai Benton scored the first 9, and a timeout was forced by Elkader less than a minute into the game. And from there, everything else was pretty straightforward. Elkader really didn't make a run in that game. It was over as soon as they called that first timeout. Well, we've got a chance. Here's a look at the final district standings or conference standings, excuse me, for the Tri-Rivers West. As always, a very competitive Tri-Rivers West once again this season. At the bottom was Starmont. They went 0-14. They actually finished their season without a victory. They finished 0-22 overall. Springville and Edgewood Colesburg were tied for 6th, both at 3-11. East Buchanan rounded out the bottom half at 6-8. Central City and Maquoketa Valley tied for 3rd. The Wildcats won in Delhi, but Mac Valley won here in Central City. There is no tiebreaker there, so they share 3rd place, both at 9-5. Alburnett went 12-2 in conference play. Their only 2 losses coming to North Lynn. And North Lynn, a perfect 14-0 in conference play, 20-0 overall. They are your conference champions in the Tri-Rivers West. North Lynn is in the same sub-state as Central City, but different districts. They would not meet up unless both of them were in the sub-state championship game a couple weeks down the line on the 25th of February. Under 2 minutes to go until we tip this one off here in Central City. Once again, David Warrington here with you, excited to get the postseason underway as Central Elkader makes the hour drive down from Elkader here to Central City. And we're going to get this one underway in about 90 seconds. Wildcats were supposed to play Elkader back in the football season, but Elkader could not field a varsity team, so that game was called off. That's actually the game we ended up having Hiawatha out of Illinois come to town. Ended up being a victory for Central City. But as I said, it is the second time Elkader has come here to Central City this season, and we are just about set for some fun basketball here tonight. Quickly, your starters: Matthew Klosterman, Aiden Klosterman, Jaden Hansen, Makai Benton, and Braden Rickles for Central City. Isaac Lone, Caden Erickson, Dan McGreal, Elliot Kelly, and Gabe Erickson for Elkader. And those starters are about to be announced over the loudspeaker here in Central City. And I will follow along as Mrs. Hackman announces the starters here over the starting lineups. First postseason game here in Central City since 2020. I was on the floor for that one. Wildcats took down Marquette Catholic as the 2 seed, defeating the 7 seed. This is another 7 versus 2 seed matchup tonight with Central Elkader taking on Central City. Now here are your starting lineups. For Elkader, a freshman, number 2, Isaac Lone. A senior, number 5, Caden Erickson. A senior, number 20, Dan McGreal. A senior, number 24, Elliot Kelly. And a junior, number 30, Gabe Erickson. Assistant coaches for the Warriors are Mike Beck and Blake Rodenberg. Central Elkader's head coach is Brady Strammer. Now here are your starting lineups for Central City. First up is a 5'10 sophomore, number 1, Matthew Klosterman. A 5'10 junior, number 10, Aiden Klosterman. A 5'11 junior, number 13, Jaden Hansen. A 6'3 junior, number 23, Makai Benton. And a 6'1 senior, number 30, Braden Rickles. Assistant coach for the Wildcats is John McGovern. Central City's first-year head coach is Ryan Turner. At this time, we will pause and step aside for the singing of tonight's national anthem. Beth Griggs with a nice rendition of our national anthem, and we are set to go. One more time, your starting lineups. Klosterman, Hansen, Benson, and Rickles for Central City. Lone, Erickson, McGreal, Kelly, and Erickson for Central Elkader. Warriors wearing their traveling red uniform, Central across the chest in black numerals with a white outline, and black and white trim down the sides. Central City wearing their home white uniforms tonight, Wildcats across the chest in black numerals, and red and black trim down the sides and on the shoulders. Wildcats will work left to right to begin the ball game. Warriors working right to left as Makai Benton will jump center for Central City opposite Dan McGreal. And we are set to go for the postseason. Winner go home starts now. Central City and Central Elkader getting started on a Monday night. 8 minutes on the clock. Ball is in the air, and we are underway. Opening tap controlled by Makai Benton. Matthew Klosterman just races it down, keeps him from going out of bounds, and we are underway here in Central City. Matthew Klosterman into the front court, has the top of the key. Picks it up, goes right wing to Hansen. Inside to Benton. He's double teamed in there and doesn't matter. Benton goes right through it and gets the basket to go. He gets the scoring started, 2-0 Central City. That one's nearly turned over by Elkader. It'll be off of Central Elkader. Out of bounds, it will go to Central City. Good start for Central City. They score on the offensive end and then force a turnover defensively on the first 2 possessions of the game. Matthew Klosterman into the front court, goes right wing to Hansen. Gets past the defender, stops, triple teamed in there. They're going to say he picked up his pivot foot. That'll be a travel, and it goes back to Elkader. 30 seconds gone here from Central City. Wildcats on top, 2-0. Inbounds pass for Elkader goes to McGreal. That's their leading scorer at 16 points per night. Trying to break a full court press being applied by Central City. Gabe Erickson gets it in the front court. Now finds McGreal over on the right wing, guarded by Matthew Klosterman. Now top of the key to Kelly. Kelly dribbling right, has it right wing, guarded by Rickles. Picks up his dribble right in front of the Wildcat bench, over to McGreal. Straight on, triple on the way, off back iron, no good. Rebounded by Lone. And there will be a foul on Central City called right after the rebound. Looked like a reach. That'll be the first foul of the game. And that will be called on Aiden Klosterman, his first. Elliott Kelly to inbound for Elkader, does so to McGreal on the right wing, guarded by Matthew Klosterman, uses a screen, dribbling left, now guarded by Benson. Hands it off to Caden Erickson. He picks up his dribble right away, gives it over to Kelly behind the volleyball line at the top of the key with 25 in the shot clock. Kelly driving in, finds McGreal. Open corner 3, that's too strong. Off the side of the rim, rebound by Aiden Klosterman. Matthew Klosterman into the front court for Central City. Getting past the defender, gets past another, steps through, finds Braden Rickles inside. Beautiful assist, and Braden Rickles with the finish. 4-0 Wildcats, not quite 90 seconds into the game. Kelly looking to break this press for Elkader. Guarded by Benton and Rickles on a double team. Finds McGreal. He finds Erickson across the timeline, but it's taken away. Jaden Hansen gets the steal that time. Matthew Klosterman into the front court. Driving inside. Stops. A little give and go to Hansen, but it's going to be taken away. Stolen that time by the freshman Isaac Lone, making just his 4th career start. Gets the steal for Elkader. McGreal has it on the right wing, guarded by Matthew Klosterman. Little dribble. and then hands it into the corner to Erickson. Gets it back to McGreal. Take his third three of the game. He's 0 for 3. Rebound is going to be picked up by Jaden Hansen. 2 minutes in, 4-0 Central City, as Matthew Klosterman brings it up for the Wildcats. Gives it over to Hansen on the left wing. Now top of the key to Matthew Klosterman. Right back to Hansen left wing. They're just playing catch right now. Matthew dribbling right. Getting a call from Coach Turner on the sideline. Over to Hansen in the corner. Driving in, steps through, lays it up. No call on the contact. That'll be thrown out of bounds. And I thought that might have gone back to Central City, but a Central Elkader kid chased after it and dove on the floor, and it will now be off Elkader, and it definitely will go to Central City. Have a sub into the game for Elkader. This is Tate Burns making his first appearance of the game, a senior. They don't list their heights, but he is almost certainly one of their tallest players. Inbounds pass goes to Matthew Klosterman. 5:35 to play in the opening quarter. 4-0 Central City. Hansen has it left wing, high post. Braden Rickles fakes the jumper, trying to get inside. Out to Aiden Klosterman, right wing. Driving in, stops, gives it over to Rickles in the short corner. Rickles driving inside now. Stops in the paint, gets it out to Matthew Klosterman. 15 to shoot. Matthew dribbling right, guarded by Erickson. Picks it up on the right elbow. Over to Benton. Stops, free throw line jumper on the way. That's going to rattle out, no good. And the rebound is picked up by Isaac Lone. 3 minutes gone, 4-0. Central City is our score as Castor Abernathy makes his way to the scorer's table. McGreal gives it to Kelly, uses a screen, gets it out to Erickson right wing, stops, picks up his dribble, thought about a shot, now McGreal has it left wing. Trying to get past Benton, going down the baseline, gives it into the corner to Lone, fakes the three, he's going baseline now, and they're going to get Aiden Klosterman for a little bump foul. There wasn't a whole lot of contact there, but they're going to call him for it, and that'll be his second. Presumably, Aiden's going to have to leave the game, and sure enough, Lucas Greif makes his way to the scorer's table. And he, alongside Castor Abernathy, will enter the game, replacing Aiden Klosterman as well as Jaden Hansen. Greif, a 5'8 senior, 1.5 points per game. Abernathy, a 6'1 junior, averaging 2 points per game. Inbounds pass goes to McGreal on the right wing. McGreal dribbling to his right, uses a screen, picks up his dribble short corner. Being defended well by Abernathy. He finds Burns on the right wing. Now over to Kelly. Tries a skip pass, is tipped by Matthew Klosterman out of bounds, was touched by Elkader, and it will go to Central City. They force the turnover. 4:40 to play in the opening quarter. It remains 4-0 Central City. Matthew Klosterman bringing it up for the Wildcats. Has it on the top of the key. Abernathy left wing. Takes an open three-pointer. He buries the three-pointer. Abernathy, who has come alive these last several games, knocks down his first look, and it's 7-0 Central City. Big-time three from Abernathy, who, as I said, has played very well as of late. McGreal steps back, thought about a three. Now gives it to Erickson. Guarded by Matthew Klosterman. Over to Kelly. Inside, McGreal trying to back down Lucas Greif. Spins, fade away. That's going to be no good. Bounces off the rim a couple of times. Abernathy does a great job saving the rebound and gets it to Matthew Klosterman. Matthew up ahead to Lucas Greif. Inside, Braden Rickles gets it out. Matthew Klosterman fakes the three. Driving in, stops in the paint. Kicks it backside. Lucas Greif, open look from three. That's off the mark. And they're going to get a foul on the inside on the rebound going against Central City. That'll be the Wildcats' third. And I believe they called it on Mekhi Benton, waiting for them to put the number up on the scoreboard. But now we do have a timeout on the floor, 30-second timeout called by Elkader. About halfway through our opening quarter of play, it is Central City 7 and Central Elkader 0. That foul was indeed on Mekhi Benton. That is his first, team's third. No fouls yet on Elkader through about 4 minutes of basketball. Elkader did put in another sub as Jake Hertramp, a freshman, comes into the game. His 14th appearance of the year. He is averaging 1 point, so 13 total points on the season. Wildcats going with Rickles, Abernathy, Greif, Benton, and Matthew Klosterman. And the Wildcats are on defense here out of the timeout. Elkader basketballs. The inbounds pass goes to Dan McGreal, their leading scorer, the third leading scorer in the Upper Iowa Conference this season. McGreal fakes the handoff, picks it up on the left wing. He gives it over to Lone. Lone driving in, stops, throws up a wild shot, rolls off the rim, rebound Benton, and he will run it himself. Benton into the front court on the right wing. Gives it over to Matthew Klosterman. Thought about a three, dribbling to his right, getting inside the three-point line. Gives it out. Lucas Greif over to Rickles on the inside. His shot is partially blocked. That one was blocked by McGreal, and he pulls in the rebound. 7-0 Central City, 3.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. McGreal dribbling right. Gives it over to Erickson, getting inside, guarded by Greif. Picks up his dribble at the left elbow, over to McGreal right wing, uses a screen from Kelly. Pulls up for a three-pointer, and he puts it in. On his fourth attempt, he knocks down his first three. And after nearly 5 minutes, Elkader's on the board at 7-3 Central City. Abernathy going inside, takes some contact, throws one up wildly, and they're going to get an offensive foul. Castor Abernathy called for the offensive foul, his first, the team's fourth. And the foul game is 4-0, Central City. 3:05 remaining in the opening quarter, 7-3 Central City. Wildcats have been locked down defensively so far, but have not gotten their usual offensive production to this point. Kelly has it right at elbow, gives the handoff to McGreal, steps back, open three, he puts it in. McGreal has all 6 for Elkader. It's a 1-point game, 7-6. Matthew Klosterman jogging it up for Central City, has it at the top of the key, gives it to Abernathy on the left wing, right back to Matthew Klosterman, gives a head fake, gives it over to Abernathy again, now right back to Matthew, now right wing, Lucas Greif, tried to go inside, now over to Matthew, top of the key once again, Abernathy left alone, gives it to Rickles, left elbow, swings it over, Lucas Greif inside to Benton, double teamed again, almost quadruple teamed in there, his shot's no good, but he fights for his own rebound, diving after it, and it will be almost saved by Elkader, but couldn't quite save it in time, and it will stay with Central City. As for the Warriors, Caden Erickson back into the game. He was a little banged up a minute ago, but he's back in there. He will replace Isaac Lone. Matthew Klosterman to inbound for Central City, doing so in front of the Elkader bench. Matthew looking over the floor, goes to the far side of the floor to Abernathy on the right wing. Top of the key, Lucas Greif gives the head fake, driving inside, gets to the rim, throws that one up, and he's fouled. Really nice take by Lucas Greif, taking the contact, going up strong, and being rewarded with a couple of free throws. That is Elkader's first foul. It was called on Dan McGreal, their top player and only scorer so far, as Lucas Greif will shoot 2. First one on the way from Greif. That is perfect. His first point of the evening. It's 8-6 Central City, as Greif will shoot one more. Greif, one of the 4 seniors on this Wildcat team, as his second free throw's on the way. That one's going to be too strong off the back iron. He goes 1 of 2. It's 8-6 Wildcats, 2:10 to go in the opening quarter. McGreal picks up his dribble, gives it over to Kelly in the backcourt. Now up ahead to Erickson in the front court on the right wing. Goes to the corner to Caden Erickson. He's in trouble, gets it into the high post to Kelly. Dumps it back down to Erickson. His layup is no good. Gets his own rebound. And they're going to get a foul on Lucas Greif going after the rebound. Foul called on Greif, his first, the team's 5th, and I would say these referees are calling a very tight game to this point. Inbounds pass, nobody covered their man as Jake Hertramp was left all alone, got a wide open layup, and it's 8-all with 1:45 to go in the opening quarter. Matthew Klosterman has it top of the key, goes right wing to Lucas Greif. Swinging it back, now dribbling right, getting inside the paint, finds Rickles, stops, goes up, little jumper inside, the paint is good. Braden Rickles regains the lead for Central City. 10-8, 90 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Rickles has 4 points on the evening. Erickson into the front court for Elkader. Gives it over to Kelly. Now McGreal has the top of the key. McGreal driving inside, gets past Makai Benton for a moment, got past him enough to finish inside. McGreal has 8, and it's 10-all here with 1:14 to go in the opening quarter, and Coach Turner calls the timeout. 30-second timeout called. Both teams have now used a 30-second timeout. Again, we are all tied up here in Central City. Wildcats 10 and the Warriors 10. For Central City so far, they are led by Braden Rickles with 4 points. Castor Abernathy has 3, Makai Benton with 2, and Lucas Greif with 1. For Elkader, Dan McGreal has 8, while Jake Hertramp has 2. Warriors back on the floor with the Ericksons, Hertramp, McGreal, and Kelly. Wildcats going with Matthew Klosterman alongside Abernathy, Greif, Rickles, and Benton. Wildcat basketball out of the timeout. 1:14 to go in the opening quarter. We are tied up 10-10 here in Central City in this Class 1A postseason matchup. District quarterfinals here tonight. Winner plays in the semifinals on Thursday. Matthew Klosterman, top of the key, goes to Greif in the left wing. Inside, Rickles takes a dribble, gets past his defender, lays it up. Braden Rickles having himself a nice first quarter. Give him 6. He's got half of the Wildcats' 12, and they lead 12-10. McGreal has it right wing. Picks it up, goes left wing to Kelly, driving inside the paint. Out for a three-pointer from Erickson. He drains it. Caden Erickson gets his scoring started, knocks down the three-pointer, was left alone on the right wing. And it's 13-12 Elkader. They have their first lead of the game. Greif has it on the left wing. Inside, Rickles in some trouble. Double team, dumps it down to Abernathy, but it's taken away. Elliott Kelly secures the steal. Less than a half-second difference between shot and game clock here for Elkader. Hertramp fakes the three, stripped by Braden Rickles. Matthew dives on it. It will be a jump ball. The arrow favors Elkader, and they can now hold for 1 as the shot clock has been turned off. Jaden Hansen making his way to the scorer's table for Central City. He checks into the game. And Hansen will be replacing Braden Rickles. Isaac Lone and Tate Burns back into the game for Elkader. Warrior basketball with 25 seconds on the clock. Inbounds pass goes to Erickson in the corner, up ahead to McGreal. He will hold it near half court, looking for the final shot of the quarter. McGreal dribbling to his right. Matthew Klosterman guarding him closely. Now Benton switched onto him. Right wing to Erickson. Down to 10 seconds on the clock to go in the opening quarter. Lucas Greif nearly pulls in the steal. A jump ball here favors Central City, and they do secure the jump ball. So with 7 seconds, the Wildcats can get the last shot of this opening quarter. And with that being said, Aiden Klosterman makes his way to the scorer's table here in a situation where he's very unlikely to get a foul, but could help out with a three-point look. 7 seconds to go in the quarter, 13-12 Elkader, as Abernathy will throw it in for Central City. Abernathy gets it into Matthew Klosterman in the backcourt, crossing the timeline, little dribble drive, trying to get inside, up to Aiden Klosterman, takes a straight-on triple. That is good at the buzzer, and Aiden Klosterman comes in off the bench and knocks down the triple, his first basket of the night. And after a quarter, the Wildcats regain the lead here by a score of 15-13. So certainly not the first quarter the Central City Wildcats would have preferred, only up by 2, but see if that three-pointer right before the end of the quarter can give them a little bit of life going into the second. Here's a look at the scoring numbers through a quarter. Braden Rickles leading the way for Central City. He's got 6. Castor Abernathy and Aiden Klosterman both with 3. Makai Benton with 2 points, and Lucas Greif with 1. For Elkader, Dan McGreal has 8 of their 13 points so far. 3 from Caden Erickson and 2 from Jake Hertramp. Jump ball arrow favors Elkader, so they will get the basketball first to begin the second quarter. Again, our score after a quarter of basketball here is Central City 15 and Central Elkader 13. Wildcats going with Greif, Rickles, Benton, Hansen, and Matthew Klosterman. Warriors with the Ericksons, McGreal, Kelly, and Lone. Second quarter about to get underway as Erickson will inbound to Kelly. Elliott Kelly takes the inbounds pass and crosses into the front court, working right to left here in the second quarter. Uses a screen, goes the other way. McGreal open corner 3 from the left side. Too strong, no good. Rebound is up for grabs. McGreal picks it up, and he puts it back in. Dan McGreal already in double figures with 10, and we're tied at 15, 20 seconds into the second quarter. Matthew Klosterman driving in, dumps it down to Hansen, but it's tipped by Lone and stolen away by Dan McGreal. McGreal up ahead down the floor to Erickson in the left corner, guarded by Greif. Gets it up top of the key to Kelly. Kelly driving inside, gets to the hoop, but it's no good and rebounded by Benton. Benton crossing into the front court, has it top of the key, goes over to Rickles. He tries to give it inside to Hansen, but I think it might have slipped out of his hand a little bit, and it was taken away once again by McGreal. Nearly a minute into the second quarter, tied at 15 here in Central City. McGreal has it left wing, steps back, deep three-pointer on the way, he puts it in. And Elkader giving Central City everything they can handle so far and then some. They lead 18-15 a minute into the second quarter. Matthew Klosterman has it at the top of the key, left wing to Lucas Greif. Gives it high post to Braden Rickles, driving to the hoop, lays it up, gets to the hoop nicely and finishes inside. Rickles with 8 points for Central City, their leading scorer. Elkader leading 18-17. McGreal fakes the give and go, throws it away. Rickles pokes it out of there, and Matthew Klosterman comes up with the steal, getting bumped, making his way down the floor. Stops at the top of the key, swings it over. Lucas Greif has it short corner. Makai Benton, open 3 from the left wing. He puts it in. Makai Benton gets his first three-pointer of the game. He's got 5 points on the night. And Wildcats reclaim the lead 20-18. 6:15 to go until the half. McGreal has the top of the key. Double screens come for Matthew. Now a handoff goes to Lone. He's guarded by Benton now. McGreal left wing, guarded by Matthew Klosterman. Trying to drive inside, goes between the legs, switching directions. Now top of the key to Erickson. 12 to shoot for Elkader as Kelly's driving in. Loses the basketball, down to 9 to shoot. Erickson almost at half court. Erickson driving inside, gets Rickles in the air, throws it up off the window, and it's good. Braden Rickles got caught in the air, and Gabe Erickson gets his first basket of the game. We're even at 20 apiece, 5:45 until halftime. Lucas Greif has it left wing. Goes high post to Braden Rickles. Inside, Jaden Hansen left alone, and he lays it in. Jaden Hansen gets his first basket and is 22-20 Central City by a pair. 5.5 minutes remaining until halftime here in Central City. McGreal trying to get inside, finds Erickson right wing. Driving baseline, inside to Kelly. Takes a hard dribble, over to Lone. His jumper off the backboard is good. Isaac Lone gets his first basket of the game, and we are again tied, this time 22-22, as Elkader calls a 30-second timeout. 5:17 to go in the second quarter. Central City 22, Central Elkader 22. So the Warriors are out of 30-second timeouts. They have all three fulls. Wildcats have used 1:30. They have another 30 remaining and all three fulls as well. So this game certainly not going to be a blowout like the last one was, at least not in this juncture of the contest. As the Wildcats and Warriors all knotted up at 22. They're doing everything in their power to make sure Mekhi Benton does not touch the basketball. And Matthew Klosterman has yet to score, and Aiden Klosterman's on the bench with foul trouble, so they've really shut down the big three of Central City for the most part so far. Benton does have 5, but he has hardly touched the basketball. Wildcat ball out of the timeout. 5:17 until halftime, all knotted up at 22. As it looks like they have somebody almost all out denying Benton, trying to not get him the basketball. Greif dumps it down. That's off the foot of Elkader. That's a kicked ball. Stays with Central City. 26 on the shot clock. 5 minutes and 8 seconds until halftime. Matthew Klosterman to throw it in for the baseline out of bounds. Inbounds pass is tipped, but ends up in the hands of Hansen. He steps through, puts it up, and he's fouled on the floor, they're going to say. The basket was good, but it won't count. That's Elkader's second foul of the game so far. Did not get a number on who they called it on. It was called on Erickson, his first, as Matthew Klosterman will inbound, does so to Mekhi Benton at the top of the key. Tries to go inside to Hansen, but taken away by Hertramp. McGreal bringing it up for Elkader. 22 all here, 5 minutes until halftime. McGreal dumps it off to Erickson, uses a screen from Hertramp, picks up his dribble top of the key, dumps it over to Kelly on the right wing. Kelly picks up his dribble inside, goes out to McGreal well beyond the three-point line, steps back, steps through, puts up a three, and he drains it. Dan McGreal having the game of his life here, 15 points already. 4.5 minutes until halftime, and Elkader leads 25-22. Benton into the front court for Central City. Goes to the corner to Abernathy. He goes over to Lucas Greif. Driving inside, gets past the defenders. He's fouled on the inside, however. McGreal knew it. And Greif will shoot too. That is a big one because that is Dan McGreal's second and the team's third. Lucas Greif will shoot 2 free throws here. Greif shot 2 earlier, went 1 for 2. Has 1 point on the night. First free throw on the way from Greif. That one's going to rattle off the rim. Kind of an unlucky roll there for Greif. As Jaden Hansen subs out of the game for Central City, replaced by Braden Rickles. They are going to stay with McGreal, Elkader. Their leading scorer with 15 points. He is playing with 2 fouls. If I was Central City, I'd go right at him, try to get him a third. Second free throw from Lucas Greif is good. He again goes 1 for 2. Give him 2 points on the night. 25-23, Elkader is our score. 4:25 until halftime. Warriors break the full court press. Erickson nearly loses the basketball. Gives it to Hertramp. Out to Erickson. He'll take a right wing 3. No good, but Kelly gets it, but he can't put it back in. Did not go to the floor. Tried to throw it back up and couldn't do so. Benton driving inside. Tries to get it down to Greif and does. Abernathy, backside 3. That is going to be no good, but rebound by Benton. He puts it back up, and they do call the foul, as Benton was getting hammered there on the inside as he tried to go up. And he will be rewarded with a couple of free throws. Halfway through our second quarter, Wildcats trailing 25-23 as Mekhi Benton will go to the free throw line. Previous foul was called on Dan McGreal, and that is huge because he just picked up his third. First one on the way from Benton. That is going to take a bounce off front of the rim, back iron and through. Give him 6, and Dan McGreal will now go to the bench. I would assume we won't see him again until the third quarter. So the Wildcats got to make a run here before halftime. Second free throw up coming from Mekhi Benton. That second one is up. That is no good. Takes bounce off the rim. He goes 1 for 2. It's 25-24 Elkader. Now we'll see how this Elkader offense runs without their all-star player on the floor. Kelly trying to drive inside, finds Erickson. He takes a straight-on triple. That is well off to the left. Rebound is loose, still loose, nearly picked up by Kelly. Now he picks it up, puts it back up, and it's good. Elliott Kelly comes out of the scramble with it. He's got 2 points on the night. And Elkader secures their lead. I think the scoreboard's wrong. It says Central City 26-25, but I think that's incorrect. Abernathy has it in the corner. Now it says 27-26 Elkader as Greif drives inside. Gets to the hoop, throws that one up, and it's good off the backboard, the back iron, and through. Greif's first field goal of the game. He's got 4. Hertramp up down the floor to Lone, has it top of the key. Goes over to Erickson, driving the baseline, throws it up on the inside, and it is good. Gabe Erickson with 4 points for Elkader, and Coach Turner wants a timeout. Coach Turner not happy with the effort he's seen so far, as this will be a full 60-second timeout. 3 minutes to go until halftime. It is Central Elkader 29 and Central City 26. We've got a chance here. Let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Heartland Bank. Heartland Bank is here to provide the kind of services that keep community in banking. That means working with local businesses to provide funding to help them grow and giving guidance and support when you're ready to purchase your first home. Heartland Bank, we're here for you. So we've got our score, Elkader 29 and Central City 26 here in Central City with about 3 minutes to go until halftime. As I mentioned, their all-star player Dan McGreal averages 16 a game, has 15 already tonight. He did pick up his third foul a moment ago. The Wildcats need to see if they can put a run together here, because I would not expect to see him again until the third quarter gets underway. Wildcats being led by Braden Rickles so far. He's got 8. Their usual big three scores have not been as productive as often. Mekhi Benton's had a fine first half. He's got 6 points. Aiden Klosterman has 3. He's barely played with foul trouble, and Matthew Klosterman has yet to score. I don't really recall him even taking a shot so far. Wildcat basketball out of the timeout. Matthew Klosterman inbounds to Braden Rickles, right back to Matthew as he brings it up the floor. 29-26 Elkader. Matthew has the top of the key. Gives it over to Lucas Greif, right wing. Gives the head fake, driving inside. Nearly lost the basketball, but finds Abernathy. Gets it over to Benton, left wing. Benton tried to dump it down, but it's taken away. Hertramp gets another steal. And the Wildcats got to take better care of the basketball here tonight. Erickson with the ball for Elkader. Dumps it over to Lone in the left corner. He puts up a 3. That is going to be no good, and Benton secures the rebound. Greif down the floor for Central City. Gives it over to Benton. Now gives it to Matthew Klosterman on the left wing. Driving inside, stops at the free throw line, puts up a jumper, but left it short, missed everything. And then we'll go back to Elkader. 2.5 to go until halftime. Elkader up by 3 here in Central City, 29-26. Elliott Kelly bringing the basketball down the floor for Elkader. Crosses the timeline. Has it on the left wing. Gives it to Lone. Lone dribbling right. Now he finds Erickson right wing. Thought about a 3. Gives it to Hertramp at the free throw line. Stolen away by Benton. He secures the steal. Now he will take his time. Sends it down the floor to Matthew Klosterman. Has it on the right wing. 2 minutes until halftime. Lucas Greif, top of the key, fakes the 3. Over to Benton on the left wing. Now gives to Matthew Klosterman. Greif on the right wing here for Central City. Over to Benton. Trying to go to work, but he's almost triple teamed in there. Dumps it down. Lucas Greif open inside. It's no good, but he tracks down the rebound. Gets it out of there to Matthew Klosterman. Driving baseline. Goes up and under, and he puts it in. Matthew Klosterman gets his first basket in fancy style. And it's 29-28 Elkader. 90 seconds until halftime here in Central City as Kelly drives in, gets to the hoop, and he finishes the layup. Way too easy there if you're Central City as Kelly just got to the hoop right away. Matthew Klosterman driving inside. Stops miscommunication as they throw it away, and Kelly gets the steal. He runs the other way. His layup's too strong, and Lucas Greif secures the rebound. 31-28 Elkader, 1:15 until half. Benton, step back three-pointer, rattles out. Braden Rickles can't quite secure the rebound, had it in his hands, but could not secure it, and it goes back. Now we got some miscommunication here, as they're going to say a foul was committed. Okay, so a foul is called. I suppose that's why Rickles could not secure the rebound. That is Elkader's 5th. Foul is called on Isaac Lone, his first. Wildcats get it back, 1:09 until halftime, trailing 31-28. Matthew Klosterman to throw it in, does so to Greif in the right corner, thought about a 3, lost it, now gives it over to Rickles right wing. He will put up a right wing triple, but left it off the mark to the left. Missed everything, and it goes back to Elkader. 1:02 until halftime as Aiden Klosterman makes his way over to the scorer's table. He will check back in, playing with 2 fouls, and he will replace Lucas Greif. Inbounds pass goes to Elliott Kelly. He will bring it up the floor for Elkader with 1 minute to go until halftime. 31-28 our score. Central Elkader up by 3. Kelly getting inside. 3-pointer on the way from Lone. That rattles out no good. Rebound is tipped by Abernathy, and it will stay with Central Elkader with a fresh 35 on the shot clock. Erickson to inbound, does so to Kelly. Kelly dribbling to his right. 30 on the shot clock, 45 on the game clock. 31-28 Elkader our score. Lone has it inside, dumps it down to Kelly. He gets inside and he lays it up once again. Kelly just cutting hard and nobody was with him. And the Warriors lead 33-28 with 30 seconds until halftime. Matthew Klosterman over to Abernathy, left wing. Gets it to Aiden Klosterman, top of the key. Right wing, Matthew Klosterman thought about a three. Driving inside, stops in the paint, throws up a jumper, and he puts it in. Matthew Klosterman with 4 points. It's 33-30 Elkader. 13 seconds until halftime. Kelly into the front court. Wildcats trying to get a stop here before the break. Kelly driving inside, has Abernathy on him. Gets it over to Burns. Now Erickson driving in. Throws one up. That is going to be no good. Kelly at the horn, couldn't get the putback. And that will do it for the opening half of play. Wildcats firmly on upset alert here so far. These 2-seed Wildcats trailing the 7-seed Elkader Warriors by a score of 33-30. So here's a look at our first half numbers there from that opening half of play. For Central City, they were led in scoring by Braden Rickles. He finished with 8. Makai Benton had 6 points. Matthew Klosterman and Lucas Greif both had 4. 3 from Castor Abernathy, as well as Aiden Klosterman, and 2 from Jaden Hansen. For Elkader, Dan McGreal had 15 points. He did not play the last 4 minutes of the half due to foul trouble. 6 points were pitched in by Elliott Kelly. He really stepped up when McGreal went to the bench. 4 from Gabe Erickson, 3 from Caden Erickson, and 2 each from Jake Herbtramp and Isaac Lone. Looking at the foul trouble here for Central City, Aiden Klosterman had 2. He hardly played in that opening half of play. Castor Abernathy, Makai Benton, and Lucas Greif all have 1. For Elkader, they were only called for 5 fouls, but 3 of them were called on Dan McGreal. They're all-everything player, 16 point per game scorer, 15 points so far tonight. He did not play for the last 4 minutes of the opening half. I would assume we will see him back out there to begin the third quarter. Other 2 fouls were assessed on Isaac Lone and Caden Erickson. So again, our halftime score here, Central Elkader 33 and Central City 30. It was a 91-48 victory for Central City back on the 9th of January, but that's not tonight, at least for a half, as they are down at the halfway point of this game by a score of 33-30. Some half-court shooting going on at the half. Again, Central City trailing this game by a score of 33-30 here at the halfway point of this ball game. Well, we've got some time. Why don't we go ahead and look at the bracket? I touched on this before the game tipped off, but here at the half, let's take another look. Quarterfinal games going on all around Sub-State 3. Wildcats are in District 6. To get to state, the winner of District 6 would have to beat the winner of District 5. In District 5 tonight, the 8-seed Edgewood Colesburg is at top-seeded North Lynn. 5-seed South Winneshiek is at the 4-seed Tripola. 7-seed Clarksville is at 2-seed Maquoketa Valley. And 6-seed Turkey Valley is at 3-seed East Buchanan. In District 6, 8-seed Key is at 1-seed Wapsie Valley. The number 5-seed Waterloo Christian is at 4th-seeded Nashua Plainfield. 6-seed Lisbon is at 3-seed Clayton Ridge. And the 7th-seeded Central Elkader Warriors are here in Central City, taking on your 2nd-seeded Central City Wildcats. Semifinals for Districts 5 and 6 will take place on Thursday. Wildcats are scheduled to host the Clayton Ridge and the Lisbon winner, but they've got a whole lot of work to do before they can think about that. Trailing by 3 here at the halftime break against the 7-seeded Central Elkader Warriors. Then after that, they will have the district championships for Class 1A coming up on Tuesday the 21st of February. That'll be a neutral site, which isn't yet to be determined. And the sub-state championship, will be Saturday the 25th. Again, that'll be a neutral site, and again, is yet to be determined. It's about 6.5 minutes on the clock here for this halftime break. Let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Heartland Bank. Heartland Bank is here to provide the kind of services that keep community in banking. That means working with local businesses to provide funding to help them grow and giving guidance and support when you're ready to purchase your first home. Heartland Bank, we're here for you. Already touched on Central City finished tied for third place in the Tri-Rivers West. They went 9-5, as did Maquoketa Valley, and the two teams split the season series, both winning on the road. So both Wildcats tied for third place. For Central Elkader out of the Upper Iowa Conference, they finished third to last with a record of 4 wins and 12 losses in conference play. They were in front of Postville at 2-14 and West Central at 0-16. In front of them were Key at 6-10, Clayton Ridge at 10-6, who the Wildcats would play if both Clayton Ridge and Central City won tonight. Turkey Valley and North Fayette Valley both at 11-5, South Winneshiek 12-4. And the conference champions at a perfect 16-0 in conference play, 21-1 overall, was MFL Marmac. So Elkader just 4 conference wins this season, 7 wins overall to 14 losses. And they came into this game on a 5-game skid. Have not won a game since January 24th, and they beat Postville at home 56-52. Since then, they lost against Clayton Ridge 47-44, at Turkey Valley 60-45, against Key 69-51, at North Fayette Valley 68-63, and against MFL Marmac 75-39. Have not played in 6 days, same as Central City, but Elkader certainly came ready to play tonight. Had a great game plan. They did their best to minimize the big 3 for Central City. The Klostermans combined for 7 points, 4 from Matthew and 3 from Aiden, who did not see the floor much due to picking up 2 early fouls. And Mackay Benton put in 6 points. Wildcats' leading scorer is Braden Rickles. He had 8 points in the first half, only averages 5 per contest. For Elkader, they were led by their all-everything player that's been leading the way all season. Dan McGreal had 15 points, averages 16 points per game. He was hitting 3 after 3, missed his first 3, but after that, he was almost automatic. Anywhere on the floor, he was knocking them down, and Central City could do little to stop it. He did leave the game halfway through the second quarter after picking up his 3rd foul. So certainly they'll still need to be aggressive, trying to go at him defensively, see if they can get a 4th and eventually a 5th, but the bigger picture is they've just got to play a little bit better on both ends of the floor. 30 points isn't bad by any means, but they can't give up 33 to a team that averages just 50 points a game. They're well over halfway to their scoring average. This year, Wildcats have allowed nearly 57 points per game, but have scored 58 points, winning by an average of 1.2 per contest. They're going to have to pick up the defensive intensity a little bit. Kind of giving me flashbacks of my senior year. We hosted Marquette Catholic. We were the 2 seed. They were the 7 seed in the district quarterfinals. And we didn't play very good for a half. We were, I believe, trailing, kind of a similar situation to this. A 1 or 2 possession game at the half, but we were down. And we came back out and allowed 5 points for the entire second half and won the game going away. So if you're Central City, certainly hoping to see if that's what can happen here tonight. Otherwise, the scary part about the postseason, 1 loss can come out of nowhere and you're done. That's it for the seniors forever. For the underclassmen, that's it for the year. And so hopefully we'll see a rejuvenated Central City team. I'm sure Coach Turner was getting into his guys a little bit there in the locker room, and hopefully we'll see a better effort here in the 3rd quarter. Well, we've got a chance to give another shout out to our sponsor, Heartland Bank. At Heartland Bank, the strength of our bank lies in the relationships to give meaning to our work. At all times, we remain focused on what we do best, operating as a dependable community bank and delivering on our personal service commitment. Go Central City Wildcats. As always, got to give a big thank you to Heartland Bank for their outstanding support of these Wildcat broadcasts here on the Wildcat Sports YouTube channel. Could not be possible without their outstanding support as our sole sponsor of Wildcat Sports. So again, a big thank you to the great folks over at Heartland Bank, located on Main Street here in Central City. Minute 45 until we play second half basketball. Certainly some nervous fans here in the building, a nervous broadcaster here on the mic with you, and plenty of nervous players out on the floor. Wildcats were hoping to run away with this one. That has not been the case. Another key to mention, Marcus Shellhorn, who has been out for several games for Central City, would be good to go on Thursday if the Wildcats can make it that far, but they're not there yet. They're trailing by 3 here at halftime, so that would give them a big boost. But before that can happen, they've got to go out and outscore the Warriors by at least 4 here in the second half, and they can hopefully have their season continue. Over to Thursday, they would host the Clayton Ridge Lisbon winner, but they've got plenty of work to do before that can happen. So a minute on the clock. We're about to get the second half underway. It'll be Wildcat basketball first. They'll work right to left in this second half. Warriors will work left to right. Wildcats again were led in the first half by Braden Rickles with 8 points. Elkader led by Dan McGreal. He put up 15 points in the opening 16 minutes of play, averaging nearly a point per minute, despite the fact that he did not play for the last 4 minutes of the half. Would assume the Wildcats will go with their starters to begin the third quarter. They'll take the floor momentarily. Wildcats going with the Klostermans alongside Rickles, Hansen, and Benton. Elkader does have a bit of a different lineup out there. They are not going with Dan McGreal to begin the third quarter. It is Lone, Erickson, Kelly, Gabe Erickson, and Caden Erickson. Both Ericksons out there. And Tate Burns, the fifth starter for the second half. Aiden Klosterman will inbound to Matthew Klosterman. And the second half is underway here from Central City. 16 minutes away from deciding a winner. Both teams fighting for the right to play on Thursday. Matthew Klosterman trying to drive in, but steps back out. Lost the basketball, picks it back up in the left corner. Gets it over to Benton on the left wing. Guarded by Kelly. Goes inside to Rickles. He's double-teamed in there. Takes a couple dribbles. Finds Aiden Klosterman. Right wing three on the way. He puts it in. Aiden Klosterman with his second three-pointer of the game. And we're tied up at 33. Not quite 30 seconds into our second half. Kelly into the front court for Central. Elkader has the top of the key. Dribbling to his right. Gets it over to Erickson. Three-pointer on the way. That's going to be no good. Rebound is loose. It's still loose. Picked up by Kelly. And the Wildcats have got to get a body on him. He's got 8 points, and at least 4 of those have come from offensive rebounds and putbacks. Elkader 35-33, not quite a minute gone here in the third quarter. Hansen has it right wing, top of the key to Aiden Klosterman. Fakes the three, gives to Matthew on the left wing. Matthew dribbling right, getting inside. Nice move inside, it's blocked. Benton with the rebound, his putback is up. He gets it to go down. Benton with 8 points, tied for a team high, and it's 35 all, a minute gone in the third quarter. Kelly into the front court for Elkader. Gives it to Lone. Uses the screen. Stops top of the key. Tipped by Hansen. Stolen away by Jaden Hansen. He's running the fast break. Gets to the rim. Lays it up. And it's going to be an offensive foul called on Jaden Hansen. Jaden called for his first and the team's first of the second half. And we'll go back to Elkader. Tied up at 35 with 6:45 to play in the third quarter. Elliott Kelly dribbling it up for Central Elkader. He crosses into the front court, has it by the Wildcat logo, uses the screen, dribbling left, hands it off to Lone, nearly taken away. He's driving inside, and they call him for a carry. Lone turns it over, and it goes back to Central City. Makai Benton will throw it in for the Wildcats. No press being applied. Gets it into Matthew Klosterman. Now Dan McGreal is up. He's going to re-enter at the next whistle. Matthew Klosterman over to Jaden Hansen on the right wing. They're going to let him shoot it from out there. He doesn't want to. Gives it over to Aiden Klosterman, top of the key. Inside to Hansen. It's going to be tipped out of bounds. Burns touched it first, but Hansen touched it last, and it goes back to Elkader. And Dan McGreal is back into the game for Central Elkader, replacing Tate Burns. McGreal with 15 points so far, but he does have those 3 fouls. Elliott Kelly walking it up the floor, and Matthew Klosterman is going to be all up in McGreal's grill, trying to keep him out of things offensively. Good back cut by Erickson, finds him wide open underneath the basket. He's got 5 points, and Elkader reclaims the lead 37-35. Matthew Klosterman dribbling to his left, has it top of the key, gives it back to Braden Rickles. He lost the basketball, loses his footing, and it's taken away by Elliott Kelly. Kelly running the other way. Goes up, that is going to be no good, rolls off the rim. Rebound is loose, picked up by McGreal. It's taken away, and they're going to call that a shooting foul. It wasn't a foul, but they're going to call it a shooting foul. He just tried to throw the basketball up there, and that is Central City's second. McGreal will shoot 2. It was called on Matthew Klosterman, his first. And Dan McGreal will shoot 2. He's got 15 points on the year. He's an 81% free throw shooter. Best on the team, third best in the Upper Iowa Conference. First one is good. McGreal's got 16, already at his scoring average, as Dayton Price will make his first appearance tonight. 6-foot junior, averaging 3 points and 3 rebounds per game, replaces Braden Rickles. Second free throw from McGreal on the way. That one is good as well. He makes both. Give him 17. It's 39-35 Elkader, as McGreal will now go to the bench and is replaced by Jake Hertrampf. Matthew Klosterman bringing it up. Wildcats trailing by 4 here. 5:40 to go in the third quarter. Matthew Klosterman getting inside. Dumps it down. Dayton Price lays it up, and he gets it to go right away. Dayton just checked into the game for the first time moments ago. Gets the basket quickly, and the Wildcats are back within 2. Kelly into the front court for Elkader. Uses the screen, now goes the other way. Lone traveled with the basketball. They didn't call it. Throws one up well short of the rim, and it's rebounded by Makai Benton. Matthew Klosterman into the front court. Splits a double team, now backs out. Has it at the top of the key. Left alone, but didn't want the three. Uses the screen. Has a one-on-one matchup. Double teamed now. Goes backside to Hansen. He dribbles through. Puts that up. It is good, and the foul. Jaden Hansen picks up a big-time bucket. He's got 4 points. Chance to make it 5 at the free throw line. We are tied, and Elkader calls for their first foul of this opening half or second half of play. McGreal back into the game alongside Burns as Lone and Hertramp go to the bench for Elkader. 39 all. Waiting to see who that foul was called on as Jaden Hansen will shoot one free throw. Foul went on Hertramp, his first. Hansen's free throw on the way. That is good. And the Wildcats reclaim the lead. Hansen with 5 points. Central City leading 40-39. 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Kelly gives it to the high post. Taken away by Benton. He secures the steal, and he's fouled. Makai Benton was strong with the basketball, takes the contact, and holds on to it. Elkader called for their second foul. Believe that was on Tate Burns. That would be his first. And that is correct. Burns called for his first. Both teams have 2 here in the second half as Matthew Klosterman walks it up the floor for Central City. Crossing the timeline. Uses a screen. Now going the other way. Nearly lost his footing. Picks it back up. A lot of contact. Bodies hitting the floor on the inside. And it's taken away by Dan McGreal. He's looking for Dayton Price, but he did not meet the basketball. Results in a turnover. McGreal driving and stops. Throws up a floater off the backboard. Really smart play there by McGreal. Would have gotten called for a charge as Hansen was sitting in there, but instead stops and lays it up and got it to go. It's 41-40 Elkader. Hansen goes inside to Benton. He's pretty much triple teamed in there. Hansen dumps it down to Dayton Price. His layup is up and good. Dayton Price with his second basket, give him 4 points, and the Wildcats reclaim the lead, 42-41. McGreal, guarded by Matthew Klosterman, uses a crossover, and they're going to get a foul on Matthew Klosterman. He hardly touched him whatsoever, but they're going to call the foul. That is the team's third, Matthew's second. That's a big call, and Matthew barely touched him whatsoever. Aiden Klosterman will check out of the game. Lucas Greif back in to replace him. It's 42-41, Central City by 1 as Elkader takes the inbounds pass. It goes to Elliott Kelly crossing the timeline into the front court. Halfway through our third quarter here, Wildcats by 1. On the other end, a really nice back cut by McGreal. Got a wide open look, and Hansen had no choice but to foul or give up the layup. Hansen called for his second. Team fourth, and Dan McGreal back to the free throw line to shoot 2. He's got 19 already tonight. Was 2 for 2 on his first trip to the free throw line. Makes that one as well. Give him 20, and it is once again tied up here in Central City, 42 all. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. McGreal will shoot one more free throw. Second one on the way from the southpaw. That is good as well. Has not hit anything but the net on his free throw attempts so far. Give him 21 points, and the Warriors reclaim the lead, 43-42, halfway through our third quarter. Greif has it at the top of the key, driving to the hoop, gets in there, lays it up. Really nice take by Lucas Greif. Give him 6 points, on the night. And the Wildcats lead at 44-43. McGreal into the front court, guarded by Greif. Wants to use a screen, picks up his dribble. Erickson thought about a three, now driving in, picks it up in the paint. Trying to find somewhere to go with it, gets it out of there to Caden Erickson in the corner. He picks up his dribble. He's in trouble. Jaden Hansen all over him, gets it to Kelly at the top of the key. Kelly getting to the hoop, gets past the defender, lays it up too strong off the window, and it's rebounded by Dayton Price. Matthew Klosterman down the floor for Central City. Has it on the right wing. Driving to the hoop, stops, kicks it back out to Hansen, top of the key. Lucas Greif left all alone for a straight-on three, but it's off the back iron, no good, and rebounded by Caden Erickson. Kelly bringing it up. 3 minutes until the end of the third here, 44-43 Central City. Burns has it at the free throw line. Turns, fakes the handoff, guarded by Price. Now starts to go to work, finds McGreal near the timeline. 18 on the shot clock, guarded by Lucas Greif. Driving in, gets past the defender, throws it up wildly, no good, and rebounded by Lucas Greif. Greif into the front court for Central City. Has it on the left wing. Now going top of the key over to Matthew Klosterman, right wing. Puts up a contested three. He puts it in. Matthew Klosterman rattles that one in. Had a hand in his face, but it didn't affect him. Wildcats by 4, 47-43. That's 7 points for Matthew Klosterman. McGreal uses a screen from Burns, dribbling to his right. Now goes the other way. Stops at the elbow. Now out to Burns, top of the key. Goes to the high post to Kelly. Hands it off to Erickson. Back out to Burns beyond the three-point line. Tipped by Matthew Klosterman. He can't quite save it. Comes 4 rows deep into the stands. And we'll go back to Elkader. Just 12 on the shot clock. And for Elkader, Isaac Lone and Jake Hertramp back in the game, replacing Caden Erickson as well as Tate Burns. Castor Abernathy in for Jaden Hansen for Central City. 12 on the shot clock for Elkader as the inbounds pass goes to Isaac Lone, crossing into the front court. Gives it over to McGreal, well beyond the three-point line with 7 to shoot. Uses a screen, steps up for a deep three-pointer, left it short, but Kelly got the rebound. Nobody boxed him out. Kelly's got 10 points, and at least 6 of them have just come from him not getting boxed out. It's 47-45 Central City, a minute 50 until the end of the third. Matthew dumps it off to Dayton Price. No look, it's blocked, but he gets it back and puts it back in. An amazing find to Dayton Price. No look pass for Matthew Klosterman. Dayton's layup was blocked, got his own rebound and put it back up. It's 49-45 Central City. Price has 6 points. Erickson gets it out. Isaac Lone. Triple on the way, no good. And Kelly gets another rebound. His layup attempt is no good, but he's fouled. And the Wildcats have got to do something about Elliot Kelly on the boards. He doesn't have a height advantage. We've got the taller kids, but he just has been getting to the boards and getting the rebounds. Foul goes against Dayton Price, his first and the team's 5th. Elliot Kelly will shoot 2. On the year, he is a 46% free throw shooter. Has 10 points so far tonight, well above his 7-point average already. First one on the way is going to be no good. It rolled around the rim, died on the back iron for a moment and falls out. Aiden Klosterman back in for Central City. He replaces Lucas Greif. Jaden Hansen also back in for Castor Abernathy. For Elkader, McGreal will go to the bench and is replaced by Erickson. Kelly will get one more free throw. 49-45 Central City our score. Minute 25 to go in the third quarter. Free throw on the way from Kelly. That one's perfect. He goes 1 of 2. Give him 11 points on the night. We've got a timeout called by Elkader. A full 60-second timeout. Elkader uses their first full. They have 2 fulls remaining, all out of 30s. With a minute and a half to go in the third quarter, Central City 49 and Central Elkader 46 is our score. Taking a look at your scoring numbers so far. For Central City, they are led by Makai Benton and Braden Rickles, both with 8. Matthew Klosterman has 7. Dayton Price and Aiden Klosterman both have 6. Jaden Hansen with 5 points. Castor Abernathy with 3. Almost missed Lucas Greif. He also has 6. He's had some nice minutes in tonight's game. It's been a balanced scoring effort. Nobody's had even double-figure scoring so far, but some kids stepping up off the bench has really helped. Greif has 6 points off the bench. So does Dayton Price in the last several minutes. Did not play the entire first half. Didn't start the second half either. And that has been critical for Central City. Elkader's led by Dan McGreal. He's already got 21 points. He's the reason they're in this game. But the other reason is Elliot Kelly, 11 points, almost all of them coming via the offensive glass, getting putbacks and getting to the free throw line. So those two are the key for Elkader. McGreal's in foul trouble. He's not in the game. So they've got to keep Kelly off the glass, keep McGreal with the foul trouble, and they will be okay. But not out of the woods yet by a long shot. Just up by 3, 49-46, a minute 20 to go as Matthew Klosterman crosses the timeline out of the timeout. Matthew trying to get to the hoop. Nice move inside. His layup is good with the left hand. Matthew's got 9 points, and it's 51-46 Central City, their biggest lead since they went on the 8-0 run to begin the game. Erickson trying to get inside. Finds Caden Erickson in the corner. Now Hertramp finds Kelly top of the key. Over to Erickson, driving the baseline. Hansen lost his footing, and they're going to get a foul on Dayton Price. He was going for the block. I don't think he touched him, but anytime you swing your arm down like that, you're liable to get called for a foul. Unfortunately, that time it was more what the play looked like than what actually happened. So Dayton is called for his second. It's the team's 6th here in the second half. Elkader only has 2 fouls so far in this third quarter. First free throw is up, and Caden Erickson puts it in. He's a 46% free throw shooter on the year, and he's got 6 points so far tonight. Chance to make it 7. Erickson set for his second free throw. That one on the way. That is too strong off back iron. Dayton Price picks up a man's rebound and pulls it in, gives it over to Makai Benton. Matthew Klosterman into the front court. 51-47, 45 seconds till the fourth quarter gets underway. Jaden Hansen has it in the right corner, going baseline, and they're going to call a foul on Hertramp. He knows it, frustrated with himself, and claps his hands. It's his second, team's 3rd, and will stay with the Wildcats with a fresh 35 on the shot clock. 43 seconds until the end of the third quarter here in Central City. Matthew Klosterman to inbound, does so to Aiden Klosterman, right wing. Thought about a three, gives it over to Hansen. He will take a three from the left wing. That is going to bounce off the rim, no good. Rebound kept alive by Price, but pulled in by Hertramp. He finds Elliott Kelly. Shot clock is off. Way down the floor, Erickson has the basketball. Now Hertramp has it at the free throw line. Turns and gives to Erickson, top of the key. Gabe Erickson gives to Isaac Lone. 20 seconds on the clock until the end of the third quarter. Now Lone has it on the left wing down to 12 seconds. Kelly has it beyond the three-point line. He spins on the inside. Jumper on the way is left short. Rebound is kept alive by Kelly. Erickson can't get the putback to go. 3 seconds. Matthew Klosterman racing down the floor. Stops, puts up a deep three. It is no good. And that will do it for the third quarter of play here from Central City. After 3 quarters, Wildcats regain the lead. They outscore the Warriors by 7 here in the third quarter to take a 4-point lead into the fourth and final quarter of play. Our score is Central City 51 and Central Elkader 47. So certainly not the kind of blowout the Wildcats would have liked here tonight. They won this one 91-48 back on the 9th of January, but they will be at least happy that they've taken the deficit into a lead, leading by 4 with 8 minutes to play in the ball game. Central City so far tonight led by Matthew Klosterman with 9 points. Braden Rickles and Makai Benton both have 8. 6 points have been pitched in by Lucas Greif, Aiden Klosterman, and Dayton Price. 5 from Jaden Hansen and 3 from Castor Abernathy. Wildcats will be on defense to begin the fourth quarter. They are taking the floor now. On the floor, they have Matthew Klosterman alongside Abernathy, Price, Benton, and Hansen. Warriors going with McGreal. Both Ericksons are out there alongside Kelly and Lone. Warrior basketball to begin the fourth quarter as McGreal will inbound it, and he will plan to do so to Kelly here to begin the fourth quarter. Officials waiting for everything to be ready to go. 8 minutes to go in one of these two teams' season. Looks like they're drying up a wet spot on the floor. Right there in the paint on the right side of the floor where Elkader is working in this fourth quarter. Now we're set to go. Somebody's season has one more quarter left. Hopefully it's not Central City's. They got to play another good quarter of basketball here to secure a win and move on to Thursday. Kelly has the top of the key. Uses the screen, now dribbling right. Gets inside, gets past Benton. Beautiful move on the inside. Kelly gets it to go. He's got 13. It's a 2-point game. Matthew Klosterman into the front court, has it at the top of the key. Gets it over to Hansen. Hansen trying to drive in. Gets it over to Benton on the right wing. Back out to Matthew Klosterman. 7.5 to play in the game. Matthew driving inside, gets it to Benton. Cutting hard off a screen, dumps it down. Dayton Price open underneath the basket. His basket is good. Dayton Price with 8 points. He's been huge off the bench. And the Wildcats lead by 4, 53-49. McGreal has it left wing, uses a screen. Gives it back to Lone, top of the key. Now back to McGreal. Hansen all up on his grill, and they're going to get him for a foul. Hansen doesn't like it, but the Wildcats just can't foul right now because that's going to be free throws coming up. That is Hansen's third. Wasn't a ton of contact that time, but it was enough to call the foul. And the best free throw shooter on this Central Elkader team gets to shoot a 1-and-1. McGreal with 21 points tonight. He's an 81% free throw shooter. First one is up, and that is good. Give him 22, and the Warriors are back within 3, 53-50. 7:15 to play in the game. McGreal getting set for his second free throw after earning the back half after making the first half. This one on the way. That is good as well. He's 6 for 6 at the line tonight. Give him 23 points. It's a 2-point game, 51-53. Matthew Klosterman into the front court for Central City. Gives it over to Abernathy in the corner. Thought about a three. Picks up his dribble. Gives it to Hansen in the paint. Hansen tries to find a man, but he's going to be fouled. And we'll stay with Central City. That is Elkader's 4th team foul. Believe it was called on Gabe Erickson as Braden Rickles is back into the game for Central City, replacing Jaden Hansen. Matthew Klosterman will throw it in for Central City. That was Erickson's first foul in the previous play. Inbounds pass goes to Rickles. Now inside to Price. Back out to Rickles in the right corner. He's driving inside. Price has it at the elbow. Over to Abernathy. He drives to the hoop. His layup is good. Castor Abernathy gets to the basket. Gets the layup to go. He's got 5 points. 55-51. Wildcats on top by 4. 6:45 to play. Lone has it. Top of the key to Erickson. Driving right. Picks up his dribble. Tries to step through. Got to watch that pivot foot closely. He's moving the pivot foot, but he gets it out of there to Kelly, and a timeout is called by Elkader. Elkader uses their second to last timeout. It'll be a full timeout. 6.5 to play in the game. It's Central City 55, Central Elkader 51. Elkader just has one timeout remaining. It is a full timeout. Wildcats with 2 fulls and a 30 remaining. Coach Turner has a lengthy discussion with the official who did not call that travel. Now the official goes back to talk to his counterpart, and Coach Turner goes back to talk to his team. Dan McGreal leading the way for Elkader. He's got 23 points, averages 16 a game, but having a really nice game here tonight. Wildcats, for the most part, just haven't had an answer for him. For Central City, it's been a very balanced scoring night, the most balanced I've seen them all year. Matthew Klosterman leading the way with 9. Nobody in double figures, unfortunately. Some kids have stepped up off the bench that have kept the Wildcats in this game. Dayton Price has 8, Lucas Greif has 6, Castor Abernathy with 5. Just to name a few. Wildcats coming back on the floor. Benton, Price, Rickles, Abernathy, and Matthew Klosterman on the floor. For Elkader, it's going to be Lone, McGreal, the Ericksons, and Kelly. 20 on the shot clock for Elkader out of the timeout, as McGreal will throw it in from the baseline. Inbounds pass goes to Erickson, right elbow. He turns, puts up a layup. That is good. Gabe Erickson finishes on the inside. Give him 6 points on the night. Back to a 2-point game, 55-53. Matthew Klosterman into the front court. He has it on the right wing. Picks it up, gives it over to Braden Rickles. He goes over to Castor Abernathy. Left alone for a 3. He puts it in. Castor Abernathy puts it in. A huge three-pointer by Abernathy. He's got 8. Wildcats leading 58-53, 6 minutes to play. Kelly out to Lone. He's open for a 3. That's no good. Backside rebound secured by Abernathy. He was fouled. Team foul number 5 on Elkader, and it goes back to Central City. That could be a big swing right there. The 3 on one end, forcing the miss and getting the rebound on the other, also causing the foul. Foul is called on Caden Erickson, his second, team's 5th. Wildcats by 5, 5:50 to play as Matthew Klosterman crosses the timeline. Matthew picks it up over to Abernathy, right wing. Now gives to Makai Benson. Makai trying to drive in, and a foul is going to be called. That is team foul number 6. Both teams are all out of fouls to give, as it looks like that one will be called on Elliot Kelly, I believe. That would be his first, and that is the case. Inbounds pass goes to Rickles in the right corner. Benton gives it over to Abernathy. He's feeling it, puts up another 3. That's off the mark, however. Rebound was nearly tipped into the basket, but it is secured by McGreal. McGreal bringing it up for Elkader, crossing the timeline, guarded by Braden Rickles. 5.5 to play in the game. McGreal uses the screen, puts up a heavily contested 3, missed it badly off the rim, and rebounded by Abernathy. Matthew Klosterman into the front court for Central City. Has it on the right wing. Dribbling left. Stops in the paint. Fakes the jumper. Goes over to Abernathy. Fakes the triple. Getting inside. He's tripped on the inside. They're not going to call a foul, however. Kelly running the other way. His layup is good in transition. Kelly with 15 points. It's 58-55. Wildcats by 3. 5 minutes to play. Matthew into the front court. Has it. Top of the key. Driving inside. Steps through. Jumps up. Throws up a shot. No good. Gets his own rebound. Is bumped. Didn't call it. Puts it back up. Taking some contact. They're not going to call it. But he gets it to go. He's got 11. It's 60-55. Central City by 5. 4.5 to go. 4:35 more accurately in the game. Kelly takes it. Gives it. And it's a charge called. Castor Abernathy stands in and takes the charge. Elliot Kelly called for his second foul. The team's 7th. If it wasn't an offensive foul, it'd be free throws for Central City. But as it is, Abernathy comes out of the game, gets a good hand. Slap on the back from Coach Turner for great minutes. And Aiden Klosterman is back into the game. 4.5 to play. Wildcats by 5, 60-55, trying to stay alive and play on Thursday. Matthew has it left wing. Goes inside to Benton. It was tipped, but Benton comes up with it. Takes some contact. Aiden Klosterman straight on 3. Puts it in. Aiden Klosterman puts in the three-pointer. His 3rd of the game. Give him 9 points. And the Wildcats with their biggest lead of the game, 63-55. 4 minutes to play in the game. Wildcats lead it by 8. McGreal steps back on the right wing. Driving inside. Lost the basketball. It's going to go to Central City. And they will take over possession with 4:02 to go in the game, leading 63-55. Matthew Klosterman bringing it up for Central City. Under 4 minutes to go in the game. They lead it by 8. Trying to play on Thursday against the Clayton Ridge Lisbon winner on their home floor. Rickles gives it to Benton, but it's poked and taken away. Elliott Kelly with the steal. Wisely, Rickles just lets him go, and Kelly gets the layup. 17 points for him. It's 63-57. Wildcats has got to take care of the basketball, and they will win this game, but they have to take care of the ball here, leading by 6, 3.5 minutes to go. Matthew Klosterman throws it up. It's no good. Rebound Price. Fakes the putback. Puts it up. He was fouled. They don't call it, but he got it to go. Dayton Price with 10 points off the bench. Did not play at all in the first half. Having one of the best games of his career here. McGreal has it right wing. Guarded by Rickles. Uses a screen. Matthew switches on to him. Thought about stepping back. Instead gives it to Lone in the right corner. 3:05 to go. Kelly driving in. Stops. Throws it up. That is going to be no good, but they're going to call a foul. Benton can't believe it. But they're going to call it. Central City's 8th. It goes against Mackay. And that is the second foul called on Mackay Benson. Both teams are over the limit. Wildcats with 8, Warriors with 7. As Elliott Kelly will shoot 2. Already has 17, only averages 7. Well above his scoring average here tonight. As the first one is strong off the back iron, no good. He will shoot one more. Wildcats by 8, 65-57, with 3 minutes to go in the game. Second free throw coming up for Elliott Kelly. That one is up, and that one is good. Kelly gets 1 of 2. Give him 18 points on the game. We've got a timeout on the floor. Timeout is called by Central Elkader, I believe. And that is correct. Elkader is all out of timeouts. They cannot stop the clock again. With 3 minutes to play, Central City leading Central Elkader by a score of 65-58. While Elkader is out of timeout, Central City does still have 3. 2 fulls and a 30. So certainly tonight has been a bit more dramatic than Central City would have hoped for. But they are on top, 65-58, trying to close this one out for the final 3:04 and move on to Thursday to host either Clayton Ridge or Lisbon, depending on who wins that ball game, taking place at Clayton Ridge High School tonight. This is a district quarterfinal matchup for 1A teams. You need to win 4 games to make it to state. And this first game for Central City has been a bit more dramatic than they would have hoped for, but at this point of the year, nothing is guaranteed. A win is a win no matter how you get it. And if they can close this one out, they will not care if it's by 1 or by 40 points. As long as they get a win, they get to play again, and that's the goal in the postseason. Wildcats with the Klostermans, Rickles, Benton, and Price, who's just had an outstanding second half here tonight. He has just given Coach Turner no option but to keep playing him because he's got 10 points and has been outstanding on the glass. He has been one of the keys in this game. Matthew Klosterman in the front court has it right wing. Under 3 minutes to go. Aiden Klosterman left wing. That's tipped and stolen away. Tipped by Lone, taken away by Kelly. Wildcats have to take care of the basketball here. Kelly dumps it down. Erickson's layup is good. Caden Erickson has 8 points. It's a 5-point game once again, 65-60. Wildcats need to take their time here, get a good shot, and get a basket. Matthew Klosterman fakes the very deep 3 over to Aiden Klosterman. He's double-teamed, in some trouble, and they're going to call a timeout. Central City and Coach Turner get the timeout before a potential turnover. Just a 30-second timeout. Central City is all out of 30s. They have 2 fulls remaining. 2.5 minutes to play. It is Central City 65 and Central Elkader 60. Wildcats winning by 5 here with 2.5 minutes to go in the game. Matthew Klosterman, Central City's leading scorer with 11. For Elkader, it has been Dan McGreal leading the way. He's got 23. Elliott Kelly, who averages 7 a game, has added in 18 points. It'll be Wildcat basketball out of the timeout, 19 on the shot clock. It's the Klostermans, Price, Rickles, and Benton on the floor for Central City. Elkader going with the Ericksons, McGreal, Lone, and Kelly. Rickles to inbound for Central City. Again, 19 to shoot, 2.5 minutes to play in the game. Wildcats by 5. Inbounds pass goes to Matthew Klosterman. He crosses into the front court. Over to Benton on the right wing. He's double-teamed right away. Price has it on the right elbow. Gets it out of there to Benton. Over to Matthew Klosterman, 10 to shoot. Matthew picks up his dribble, over to Aiden Klosterman. Price going to work, lost the basketball, it's loose, 5 seconds on the shot clock. Matthew picks it up, puts up a deep 3-pointer. That's going to be no good off the back iron. Rebound is going to be picked up by Elkader. 2 minutes to play, 65-60 Central City. McGreal trying to drive in, goes behind the back, steps back, jumper on the way, no good off the rim, and rebounded by Matthew Klosterman. Wildcats need to slow down and get a good shot here. Matthew double-teamed, gets it over to Benton. Aiden Klosterman has it on the left wing, over to Mackay Benton, now right wing to Matthew Klosterman. Back to Mackay, now back to Aiden. Working it around here, quick passes. Rickles dumps it down, Price open underneath the hoop. That is no good, it takes an unlucky bounce off the back iron. He tried to go without the backboard, should have used the glass there. 90 seconds to play, Wildcats by 5. Kelly has it beyond the volleyball line. Wildcats need a stop here. Kelly dribbling to his left, has it left wing, picks it up. McGreal running through some screens. Driving inside, steps back, same shot as before. That time he puts it in. McGreal's got 25. It's a three-point game, 65-62, a minute 15 to go. Wildcats need to get a basket here on this possession. Matthew Klosterman, guarded by Erickson. And a timeout called by Coach Turner, his second to final timeout. This will be a 60-second timeout. 63 seconds to play in the game, and the Wildcats lead it by 3, 65-62. Trying to stay alive and move on to Thursday. McGreal continuing his outstanding effort for Elkader tonight. He's got 25 for Central City. Matthew Klosterman leading the way with 11. Give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Heartland Bank. Heartland Bank is a proud supporter of Central City Wildcat sports. At Heartland Bank, we recognize more than ever the need to support local customers and organizations in our communities. As your community bank, we're here for you. So 30 seconds to play. Wildcat basketball with 30 seconds till the timeout is over. A minute and 3 seconds to play. Wildcat basketball with 23 to shoot, 65-62. Wildcats by 3. They've come up empty on their last several possessions, and now Elkader's gotten it back to a three-point game. They've got to get a basket here on this possession and hopefully get to a point where they can play the free throw game. Wildcats with Benton, Price, Rickles, and the Klostermans. Rickles will inbound in front of the Wildcat bench. A minute 3 to go, 65-62. Central City by 3. Inbounds pass goes to Matthew Klosterman, crossing into the front court. Gives it over to Aiden Klosterman on the left wing. They trip him up, and they finally call the foul, and Aiden's hurt almost. No, he's going to get up. He's okay. They took forever to call the foul. It was a blatant trip, and they do call it eventually, however. So Elkader's 8th, so Aiden Klosterman will shoot a 1-and-1. Aiden is the third best free throw shooter in Class 1A, 88%, nearly 89 on the season. Foul was called on Isaac Lone. That is his second. Dayton Price will come out of the game, gets a nice hand for his good performance. Castor Abernathy into the game for Central City. This is a 1-and-1 for Aiden Klosterman. Has to make the first to get the second. First one on the way from Aiden. That is going to rattle in. That's a big free throw there for Aiden. He joins the double figures club with 10. Wildcats by 4, 56 seconds to play in the game. And Coach Turner instructs everybody else to get out of there. Don't want a silly foul and give Elkader free throws, so everybody else will get back on defense. Aiden's second free throw on the way. He gets both. Those are big ones. He's tied with his brother Matthew for the team lead in points with 11. And the Wildcats lead by 5, 55 seconds to play in the game. 30 on the shot clock for Elkader. Kelly driving in, gets to the cup. Layup is good. Elliott Kelly just has been a problem for Central City tonight. He's got 20. Inbounds pass goes to Aiden Klosterman. Back to Mackay Benton. Over to Matthew Klosterman. He is fouled intentionally. And now Matthew Klosterman will shoot a 1-and-1. That is Elkader's 9th foul. They are not in the double bonus yet. Foul is going to be called on Isaac Lone. It is his 3rd. And Matthew Klosterman will shoot 1-and-1. He's got 11 points on the night. On the year, a 71% free throw shooter. As Lucas Greif is back into the game for Central City, replacing Aiden Klosterman. Aiden takes a seat, gets a nice hand from the crowd, and now Matthew Klosterman shooting a 1-and-1. Last 1-and-1 for Central City. Elkader has 9 fouls. First one on the way from Matthew. He puts it in. Big free throw from the sophomore point guard. He's got a dozen points. Wildcats by 4. 39 seconds to play in the game. Remember, Elkader cannot stop the clock again. Central City has 1 timeout. Matthew is going to be good on the second as well, off front of the rim, and falls through. Wildcats lead is 5, 69-64, 35 seconds remaining. McGreal uses the screen, steps into a three-pointer. That is no good off glass. Rebound by Kelly, keeps it alive. And they're going to get a foul. He quite literally fell all by himself. But they're going to get a foul called. It's going to go on Mackay Benton. That is his 3rd. Coach Turner can't believe it, and quite frankly, I can't either. But That's the call. Mackay's third, team's ninth, and Elliot Kelly will shoot a 1-1. First one on the way from Kelly. That is no good. Mackay with a man's rebound secures it, and he's going to be fouled, and he will shoot two. Elkader's 10th. Mackay will go to the free throw line with the Wildcats leading by 5. Foul was on Gabe Erickson, his second, and Mackay Benton will shoot 2 free throws here in the double bonus. 69-64 our score, 27 seconds to play in the game. As Mackay, a 72% free throw shooter, puts up the first. That is short off front of the rim, no good. He'll get one more, and Jaden Hansen back into the game for Central City, replacing Castor Abernathy. One more free throw coming up for Mackay, trying to get it to a 6-point game after missing the first. Second one from Benton is on the way. That one is no good. Missed both. Rebound by Kelly. Up ahead to McGreal. Shot clock off. 25 seconds to go. McGreal guarded by Matthew Klosterman. In some trouble. Lost his dribble over to Kelly. McGreal takes a deep three-pointer. Missed everything. Left it short. And is out of bounds. Kelly tried to keep it alive. Could not do so. And the Wildcats get it back, leading by 5, 69-64 with 14 seconds to play. Aiden Klosterman and Castor Abernathy are both back into the game, replacing Jaden Hansen and Braden Rickles. They're going to get as many top-notch free throw shooters, in there as they can. Aiden Klosterman to inbound the basketball. Reminded he cannot run the baseline. Trying to get it in, does so to Matthew Klosterman. He's fouled, and he will shoot 2. Matthew Klosterman going down the floor to shoot a couple of free throws. Foul called on Caden Erickson, his third. Matthew, 13 points so far tonight. Was 2 for 2 last time he was at the free throw line. He is Central City's leading scorer here tonight. 13 seconds to play. Shot clock is off. First free throw on the way from Matthew. That one is perfect. Give him 14 points. And he will shoot one more. 70-64 our score. 13 seconds to play. Second one on the way for Matthew Klosterman. That one's good as well. He's got 15 points to lead the team. Elkader with the basketball. McGreal crossing the timeline. Has it on the left wing. He's double-teamed. Trying to get inside. Gives it over to Erickson. Now over to Caden Erickson. Inside. Kelly has it blocked from behind, and everything is a foul here tonight, as that one is also going to be called a foul, despite the clean block. Team's 10th. Mackay's 4th, I believe. It is indeed Mackay's 4th, and Kelly will shoot 2. First one is on the way from Kelly. That is good. Give him 21 points on the night. Dayton Price back into the game for Central City, replacing Lucas Greif. Nope, Lucas tried to leave the game, but it will be Lucas Greif leaving the game. Dayton tried to stop him, but it was him leaving the game. McGreal comes out for Elkader. In for Elkader, Garrett Burns, a freshman making his first appearance of the night, as well as Caden Fetty, another freshman playing. It's just his second game of the season. Elkader calling off the Dogs for these final 3 seconds, as Kelly will shoot one more free throw. That one is up. He gets it to go as well. Outstanding final game as a Warrior for Elliot Kelly. Gets a nice round of applause as he's replaced by Vaughn Zittergrun, making his first appearance of the game. 2 seconds to go in the game. Wildcats have to get it in. They will not be pressured as they do so. And the Wildcats escape despite a game effort from Central Elkader. Our final score, Central City 71 and Central Elkader 66. Wildcats moving on to Thursday despite the best effort of Central Elkader. Get you the final numbers in a moment, but the Wildcats do stay alive. They will play on Thursday against either Clayton Ridge or Lisbon. That game will be right here in Central City. So here are the final scoring numbers for tonight's game. First up for Central Elkader, they were led by Dan McGreal with 25 points. Elliot Kelly added 22. Caden Erickson pitched in 8. 6 points from Gabe Erickson, as well as 2 points from both Jake Herftramp and Isaac Lone. For Central City, everybody stepped up and helped out tonight. As it was Matthew Klosterman leading the way with 15 points. Aiden Klosterman had 11. It was 10 points from Dayton Price. He was outstanding off the bench here tonight. 8 each from Castor Abernathy, Mackay Benson, and Braden Rickles. 6 from Lucas Greif, and 5 points added in from Jaden Hansen. It was a true team effort tonight to stop a game Central Elkader team. The Wildcats stay alive. They will play another day. And as I said, that will be on Thursday, a district semifinal matchup here in Central City, hosting either Clayton Ridge or Lisbon. Again, that game will be here in Central City. I will have the coverage on the Wildcat Sports YouTube channel, so certainly feel free to tune in on that broadcast if you can't make it out to Central City. Coming up Thursday night, 7 o'clock, I'll have the pregame show for you to get you ready to go at 6:45 ahead of that 7 o'clock tip-off. So once again, Wildcats hold on and stay alive with the 71-66 victory. They're back in action Thursday, 6:45, right here on the Wildcat Sports YouTube channel and the NFHS Network. So until Thursday, I'm David Warrington saying good night and go Cats.